Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I had a suggestion to do a video of a more minimalist makeup routine, something that would just be really super quick and easy to put on before you have to run out of the house and do whatever you may have to do that day, or if you just don't like to wear a lot of makeup but you still want to look fresh and awake, a little more put together than just not wearing any makeup. This is basically the ultimate no makeup routine. It's so super fast and easy to do. Like, I can't even stress how fast and easy this is to do. At the most, I would say this whole routine is like 5 steps, but you could even stop at like step 3. I'll show you what I mean when I go through and do all of that, but without further ado, I'm just gonna jump right into doing the whole routine. I think the most important thing about doing any sort of no foundation makeup routine or something that's really minimal is to start off with a really good skincare routine. I've already done all of my skincare prep, but I'll just show you the last couple of steps that I usually do. I'm gonna throw on a moisturizer. I use the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream Intense Hydration for dry and parched skin and is safe for sensitive skin. I don't know why I read the entire bottle, but that's what it says. So I just take a fairly generous amount of that, and I'm gonna get my hair out of the way, and I'm just going to put this all over my skin. I find it's really good to start with a nice hydrating base that just helps your face look that much more awake and refreshed in the morning and gives the skin a really nice glow. The next step, and probably the most important step, you should do this every day whether or not you're going to be putting makeup on or not. This is sunscreen. Very important. If it's sunny, if it's cloudy, whatever's going on, you should put sunscreen on your face every single day. This is the Josie Maran Argan Daily Moisturizer SPF 47. So I am going to use this all over my face. Again, a pretty generous amount. And I like this one because it's really nice and moisturizing as well. It's got that argan oil in it. Makes your face really nice and moisturized. This does leave a little bit of a white cast on the skin, which you could probably see right now, but this is a mineral sunscreen, I believe, and that is just a side effect of mineral sunscreens. It doesn't work by kind of soaking into the skin like a chemical one would. It more sits on top of the skin, and I don't exactly know how it works, but that's kind of my understanding, is that it doesn't soak into the skin the same way that a chemical based sunscreen would work, which is why you see more of that white cast with a mineral sunscreen as opposed to using one that's got a chemical base formula. Don't quote me on any of that because I don't really know. That's just kind of my understanding of all of it. But I do find this soaks into the skin fairly well and doesn't leave me feeling too greasy. And if you've kind of rubbed it in enough, that white cast will disappear a little bit. Oh, the perks of living downtown. There's sirens all the time. I'm just gonna wait for those to go away or stop. So I'm going to get into the makeup part now. I'm going to start off with concealer. This is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Aqua Sealer. I used to use this forever ago. If you've been around my channel for a while, you've definitely seen this product before, and then I stopped using it for the longest time, and then I decided I'll pick one of those up again and try it out again. And I don't know why I ever stopped using it in the first place, because it's really nice and hydrating, which my under eyes need. My under eyes are super dry, and this is just a fantastic concealer in my opinion. It says you have to shake it, so I'm gonna shake it. This is the shade Light Neutral. When you're picking a concealer, you want to pick one as close to your skin tone as possible, especially when you're doing a look like this. If you're doing a look that's kind of got heavier foundation and that sort of thing, you can choose to go with a concealer that's a couple shades lighter just to kind of highlight the area. But I find if you're not blending it into any sort of foundation, it can look really stark and bright on the under eyes, and it's going to stand out more and almost draw more attention to any sort of discoloration or bags or anything like that underneath the eyes. So if you pick one that's close to your skin tone, you shouldn't have any issues with that, and it's also going to be a lot easier to blend out and blend into your skin tone. I'm just going to put a dot there and a dot there, and that is it. I'm just using the tiniest amount of product. By using a smaller amount of product, it's going to be a lot easier to blend out and make it look like you're not wearing tons and tons of product. I'm using the Sephora Airbrush Concealer Brush, and I'm just going to start tapping this out. I'm not going to bring it right up underneath my eyes just yet, as I kind of have less product on my brush, I'll start kind of bringing it up underneath my eyes. I want to keep more of that coverage where I have the most discoloration, which is kind of in the inner corner here, down underneath my eye bags. And then again, as you have less product on your brush, you can kind of bring it out towards those edges and feather that out to blend it into your face. And then I normally can't put concealer on my eyelids because my eyelids are very, very oily. I don't know how I was blessed with oily eyelids and very dry under eyes, but I somehow managed. So I just take whatever is left on that brush and I'll put it on my eyelids, because if I just put concealer straight on my eyelids, it will crease like crazy. So just whatever I have left on that brush is generally enough to even out any discoloration and then not crease on me throughout the day as well. You can kind of see the difference. I probably should have waited before I put this dot on so you could really see the difference between this eye and this eye. But even on the eyelid there, you can see the difference between the two eyes, you know? Okay, so I'm just gonna blend out this side now. And then on me personally, I tend to get redness across my nose and some discoloration kind of like right in my nose creases there. So for that, what I'll do is I'll take the same concealer. I'll just put a little bit on the back of my hand, just like that. And I'll pick up the product off the back of my hand and kind of tap off any excess because I don't want too much product. I just have slight discoloration, so I don't really need to go crazy. My chin's looking a little red today, so I'm just taking whatever's left on my brush and kind of pouncing it out across my chin. Kind of have some redness here as well. Just kind of wherever you have a little bit of redness or discoloration, you can put some product there. Step 2, and personally the step that I think is the most important for me, is eyebrows. So I'm gonna go through with a tinted brow gel first. This is the Benefit Gimme Brow. I use shade 3. I find a tinted brow gel just makes all the difference. I'm just starting kind of more towards the middle of my brow and then going out towards the tail end. Just really lightly feathering this through. Okay, so, ooh, that's way too much product right there. Just kind of tapping it out with my finger because I kind of got a little gloopy in that spot right there. So I'm just really lightly feathering this through. I don't want to really pack it on and have it get all over my skin. I'm really just trying to coat the brow hairs. I have a few sparse ones like right at the tail end of my brow here. It's still way too gloopy. If you have too much product on your brush, you can just kind of wipe it so that you're not putting too much product through your brows like I currently am. Another way to kind of clean that up is to go back in with your concealer brush and just kind of tap out those areas. So it looks really feathered and natural. I'm just kind of brushing all the hairs in the direction that they'll naturally grow in. And you can see the difference that even just that brow gel makes between my both my brows is what I'm trying to say. I was gonna say my both brows. So again, I'm just gonna go through and do that on the other side. So depending on the day and how I'm feeling about my brows that day, I will just leave it here. If I still feel like there's a lot of sparse areas in my brows, I'll go through with the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. You can use any brow pencil. I use the shade 3.5. And I'll just take this in areas that I feel are a little sparse for me. That's usually this top corner on my right brow specifically. Left brow's beautiful. Left brow's having a good time. Right brow is hungover, had 12 tequila shots the night before. She's feeling really bad. She's having a rough time. She needs a little help. She needs some Gatorade. Yeah, she's not having it. So I usually fill in my right brow a little bit more than my left brow and just give it a little bit more shape. The tail end doesn't grow in as much on the right side as it does on the left side. And then kind of right under here is where I have a little bit of sparseness as well, so I'll just really lightly fill that in. I'm like barely touching the pencil to my skin and just doing tiny little hair-like strokes to keep everything looking really natural. And then I'll just go through with the spoolie end to just blend it all out to keep it really nice and soft. And then I usually try to fill in the same areas on both brows just to try and keep everything really balanced looking. So then the next step I'm going to do, this is where you can choose to stop if you just want to keep it really, really minimal. If you want to add a little bit more, I'll show you how to do that next. But the next step that I'm going to do is curl my eyelashes. Even if you're not going to put on mascara, I find curling your eyelashes just helps your eyes look more awake. It like opens up the eyes and curls the, it curls the lashes, which just I find really makes you look more awake and alive in the morning. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Make sure you get all of your eyelashes in. You can kind of blink a couple times once you've got your eyelashes in the curler. And then I press down near the base. I'll bring it up just a tad and press down again. I have a couple at the corner here that don't always like to go in the eyelash curler and don't like to cooperate. So you can see even without mascara, I feel like that just helped open up the eyes. I also feel like that even helps just getting all my lashes to go in the same direction and kind of separate them a little bit. And I find for me this holds fairly well throughout the day even if I don't put mascara on. However, if you do want this to hold a little bit more, you can choose to do just like a clear mascara or a brown color to keep it more natural. I don't have either of those. I'm just going to use a black mascara, but this mascara is fairly natural looking. This is the Ilia Limitless mascara. This comb has two sides to it. So the side on the bottom looks kind of more like a comb, whereas the top part looks kind of more like your standard mascara wand. I find the one on the bottom that looks like a comb really coats my lashes and makes them really, really thick. And then I find the other side that looks more like a mascara wand really helps kind of go through and separate the lashes. So if I want to keep the lashes more natural looking, I'll use the side that looks kind of more like your standard mascara wand to really go through and separate all the lashes and to make sure I don't have too much product on there building up. So I just want to keep it really natural, just kind of lightly coat the lashes, make them look nice and long and separated. I'll just do a nice light coat of that. You can see how that makes a little bit of a difference between both my eyes. I'll usually just do one coat of this. I don't want to go too overboard and apply multiple layers of this. I want to just keep it one nice light layer so it adds more definition to the eyes and just kind of brings more attention to them without being like, hey, look, I'm wearing mascara. Look at all of my mascara on my eyes. When I'm trying to keep a look more natural, I'll just do my top lashes. I won't put any mascara on my bottom lashes. Especially with that mascara, I find it will transfer on my bottom lashes, so I won't usually use that one on the bottom anyways. But I find it looks a lot more natural if you just do mascara on the top. So that's where I'm going to leave that. If you want, you can stop here at this step and leave your house, go on about your day. If you want to pump it up just this little bit more, I'll show you what I'm gonna do. So I find a nice light bronzer can make all the difference in doing a really natural makeup look. It can just bring more color back into the skin and make it look like you're not so just one tone. If you notice in the summertime, you'll often get a little bit of a tan and more color on your face, kind of like on the high points. And so that's kind of where I'm going to focus my bronzer application and to keep it really, really natural looking. And so I don't go overboard, let me go wet my beauty blender. Usually a lot more prepared and have this stuff ready to go before I sit down and film, but I was just not prepared today. So what I'll do for bronzer is, firstly, I'm using my Nude Sticks Nudies All Over Face Color in Bondi Bay. So what I'll do is I'll just put a bunch of it on the back of my hand there. I like to use the more pointy end of the sponge for this sort of application, just so I can keep the product where I want it to go and then I can blend it out a little bit more. So I'm just gonna tap, tap, tap onto my skin and kind of tap it off onto my hand too, so I'm not getting too much product on there. And then what I'll do is I'll apply this more right on my cheekbones, so I'm not using it to contour. I'm using it to more warm up the face. So by keeping this color more towards the tops of the cheekbones, it's kind of where the sun more naturally hits it, and that's where you'll naturally get flushed in the summertime. So I'm trying to keep this more towards where color will naturally occur on your face, the tops of the cheekbones, across the nose, and kind of across the forehead. This will just keep the look really natural looking. I feel like I've said natural a million times in this video, but I have no idea what other word I can use right now, so it's gonna be natural. That's what it's gonna be. You can build up that color more if you feel the need to, but I just like to keep it really, really light. You can also apply some on your chin too. Why not? And then if you feel things are starting to look a little too heavy and a little bit too much like you're wearing bronzer, you can just go in with the clean end of your sponge and just kind of tap it out. It doesn't need to be super precise, just kind of in those general areas where the sun will hit your skin, and just give it a nice wash of color. I prefer to use a cream product for this as opposed to using a powder bronzer. I find the cream products stick a lot nicer to your skin if you're not wearing any foundation underneath. Powder products I feel like can look a little bit more patchy on the skin if you're not wearing a foundation, just because it doesn't have anything to adhere to. I also find a powder product will kind of wash away a lot quicker throughout the day as opposed to a cream product. This is going to last a lot longer just on your natural skin, and it's going to kind of wear away more naturally throughout the day, as opposed to a powder might kind of wear away a little bit patchier. And I find the Nude Sticks Bondi Bay is just a really nice bronzer color for my skin. It's kind of got more of those yellow undertones, which my skin naturally has, so it just kind of blends in really, really nicely and looks really, I'm gonna say it again, natural on my skin. So this is normally where I'll leave it. You can choose to kind of pump it up a little bit more by using a cream blush or a cream highlight if you want to go through all of those extra steps. But I find the more products you put on, the more it'll kind of start to look like you're wearing makeup. And if I want to really keep it as a no makeup, this is where I'll leave it. Alright guys, that is everything for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys want to see next in the comments down below, and I will do that. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.